Timeline Memories, a short story written and narrated by Robert Fairhead from the Tall and True writers' website. I dread mornings like these, when Facebook floods my timeline memories with posts and photos of Jazz and the kids. On social media, we're still a happy family, whereas in the real world, I live alone and only see the kids on weekends. But that's not Facebook's fault. It's just an algorithm. For instance, Facebook recently prompted me with a congratulations post for Jazz and my wedding anniversary. It seemed like a heartless reminder, though in fairness to Facebook, I should have updated my relationship status after our separation. Jazz and I met post-university in our mid-20s on a European bus tour. It was a Tuesday, I used to joke, despite Jazz's groans at my punchline, because we were in Rome. But Europe was long ago, and my recollection of the toga party, where Jazz and I became an item, is hazy. And in truth, I've forgotten the date, let alone the day of the week. On a happier anniversary, I scanned a faded Polaroid of Jazz and me in our bus tour togas and shared it on Facebook. I thought she'd like the surprise post, as she stood out in more ways than one, wrapped in her white sheet. However, Jazz flew off the handle when she saw the photo. "Delete that post now," she demanded, "before the kids see it." Jazz is not a sentimentalist and has never been a big Facebook fan, but I started posting regularly when the kids came along. One of my favourite early posts is a photo of me cradling newborn Jack, where I'd commented, "Feeling as shattered as Jazz after the all-night labour." But signalling editorial edicts to come, Jazz insisted I remove the all-night labour reference from the post. Undaunted and updated with a digital camera and later a smartphone, I documented Jack's developmental stages, crawling, walking, riding a bike, and the arrival of his sister, Kate. Birthdays, weekend sports, school assemblies, summer holidays, and our trip of a lifetime to Disneyland. No matter how big or small, I shared every event on Facebook. It became our online family photo album and journal. "Oh no, Dad's got his phone out again," young Kate would joke. Back then, the kids smiled or pulled funny faces for my photos. And despite a pang of sadness at the swift passing of time, when I see those preteen posts on Facebook, I know they were our happiest years as a family. Then the kids hit their teens and turned independent, spending more time with their friends or in their rooms on computers, and less with Jazz and me. Their smiles in my photos appeared forced and then faded entirely. "Not another Facebook post, Dad," Jack would grizzle, shielding his pimply face with a hand. Browsing the timeline memories, I tried to identify where my relationship with Jazz faded, like the kids' smiles. Maybe we were both struggling with feelings of redundancy, as the kids pushed back on Mum and Dad, and as we silently watched the TV and drank glasses of wine while the kids were out having fun or locked away in their rooms, a gulf formed between us. Looking to fill the void and silence, I surprised the family one day by bringing home a dog from an animal shelter. The kids, however, showed little interest in Sally, and Jazz was less than impressed too. "What were you thinking?" she asked tersely. "It'll be me who'll end up cleaning up after the dog, and all you'll do is post about it on Facebook." Jazz was half right, because most of my Facebook posts and timeline memories after that day feature Sally. But I took on the responsibility of walking, feeding and training Sally, and right now she's sprawled on a mat beside my feet, wagging her tail. So in truth, I don't live alone. And despite Jack and Kate's initial lack of interest, sometimes I wonder if they only visit me to play fetch with Sally. I feel a wave of melancholy seeing my old Facebook posts on mornings like these, but I ride it with the knowledge that, unlike Facebook, life is not an algorithm. Jazz and I met, married, had a family, and grew apart. And finding the post where our relationship started to sour won't change anything. Similarly, shedding a tear over my old posts won't stop the kids from growing up and becoming even more independent. So I reach down and pat Sally for comfort, who wags her tail in response. And if I get too sad looking at my timeline memories, I take Sally for a walk. And yes, I post a photo of her running in the park on Facebook. Hi, I'm Robert Fairhead from Tall and True Short Reads and the Tall and True writers' website. I wrote Timeline Memories in July 2022 as my entry for the Big Issues September 2022 fiction edition. The magazine received more than 900 short stories and selected 12 for publication. Unfortunately, for me, mine was not one of them, but I enjoyed the writing process. The story draws on parts of my life. I post to Facebook, my son's grown up and I have a rescue dog, and pure imagination. I've never been to a toga party. I suspect older parents, like me, will recognise the melancholy felt by the main character scrolling through his family posts. And dog lovers, also like me, know the comfort of having a dog on a mat beside your feet. And if you read my September 2020 blog post introducing the Tall and True Short Reads podcast on the Tall and True website, you'll see a photo of my rescue dog, Jet, on his mat beside my chair. There's a link to the post in the show notes. I hope you enjoyed my melancholic tale. You can read Timeline Memories and all my short stories, blog posts and other writing at tallandtrue.com. You can also buy my short story collections, including my latest collection, 12 More Furious Months, from the Amazon Kindle and Kobo online bookstores. Links are available in the show notes. The next episode of Tall and True Short Reads will be in your podcast feed shortly. In the meantime, check your feed or the podcast website, tallandtrueshortreads.com, for earlier episodes from seasons 1, 2 and 3. And follow or subscribe to the podcast and rate and review it via your favourite app. Doing so helps me share my writing with other listeners. You can support this podcast financially by making a small one-off or regular donation via the Acast supporter page. You'll find a link in the show notes. And finally, please tell your family and friends about Tall and True Short Reads and the Tall and True Writers website.